That's just sports, baby.
Crowd goes wild. Strawberry ice, bringing fire and style. Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, all in my zone. This is my stage, my mic, my throne. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy Fine is kicking down the door. Step into the ring where the passion ignites. Talking sports all day and all night. From the field to the court to the roaring stands. Strawberry ice with the world in my hands. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy Fine is kicking down the door.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from that ice cave.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need your shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything. I mean anything. Landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and more. I got it in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and more. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also, shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
That's right. We'll be back down there this Sunday. It's going to be cold as, you know what, HE double hockey sticks. If you're looking for a nice, warm place to tailgate, might I recommend the Best Day Brewing pregame experience at the Moorline Lager House. We're going to be inside the big fest tent. Don't go inside the restaurant. We're in the big fest tent out there in the Kris Kringle Market. Easy for me to say. So come on down, be DJing. We have some beer. You got the all-inclusive stuff down there. If you don't have a ticket, you can buy beer and your food down there. But if you want a ticket, go to Moorline Lager House Facebook page and website. What is up to everybody in the chat? We've got Brad's in there, Rob's in there, Jeff. Okay, sorry. He's not talking about the offensive line. You should go watch my videos with what Burrow's talking about. He's not talking about the offensive line. He wants to win. Just had to get that out. The Strangers in there, Lindsay's in there, Brad's in there. PF 2000, what's up? And cold as ice. I like that. Lindsay. They have made it. They both scared the crap out of me because they barely answered me today because I've been sleeping and I wasn't sure if they're gonna be on the show or not. And then the show started and I started talking. And nobody's in the background. And I'm like, oh, crap. I'm going to have to do this show all by myself. But I don't because my boys are here on this Who Dey Football Friday. Let's get to the man who has a draft guide, the man who writes for Cincy Jungle, the man who used to be my seat neighbor. He's also the main guy for Bengals and Brews. He's none other than Dale Altman. Hello.
Hey. I said no. You said, "Are you guys coming?" And I said no.
I know. I saw that.
And then I clicked on there.
Yeah, I see. AC's in there, but see, AC's nice and warm in his garage. He's got his t-shirt on.
Not warm down here.
Yeah. I know. It's it's kind of warm there.
Cold.
Yeah, it's very cold. All right, let's get to the Godfather. Cosenza. What's up, AC?
It is a chilly 64 degrees here.
Oh, you suck.
And hey, it's a drop from 77 that we've experienced all week. So,
Dude,
yeah.
It's gonna be like
How are you guys?
0 at the game.
Fuck this guy.
Exactly.
You'd be surprised how often I hear that, Dale.
Who invited this guy on the show anyway? Jason. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get this out of the way here. So, Joe Burrow's comments earlier this week,
Oh,
I said they were more of he's angry about the team he came back to and tired of scoring 30-something points a game and losing. And people are like, oh, my God, he's so mad about the offensive line. I'm like, the offensive line is actually playing pretty good. I think he's more upset about the defense and not making the playoffs for the third year in a row. What do you guys think? AC, go first. Or I don't care.
Yeah.
Dale, go ahead.
Yeah, AC, go ahead.
I think it's well beyond that. I think there's initially when I saw the quote, I'm like, and then it got some run nationally. I'm like, oh God, this is so overblown. And then more and more as I thought about it over the week, I'm like, yeah, this feels really familiar. And in the worst of ways, I know Carson Palmer comes to mind and other disgruntled players. And I did catch a workout earlier, Dale, and I was listening to your fine program earlier today. And I know you guys were talking about this too, but I see it as beyond. There's the frustration of this. God, this is what I hustled back to in my rehab and that sort of thing. But I just think it's welling up over the past couple of years. They're not the same clutch team. His margin of error is so slim. It's incredible. And I think this is I don't know if it's ownership. I don't know if it's the coaches. You know, he's been with Zach for a while now. Maybe things are getting stale there. I don't know. You guys have probably had jobs and or professions, whether part-time jobs when you're a kid, whatever, where you got you were displeased with things. And when he said the fact that I think it was Mike Petraglia who asked him, is this professional or personal? And he's like, both, everything. When your professional life isn't going the way you want it to go, it can, sink its talons into other elements of your life. Mm-hmm. And I think, unfortunately, that is part of, and I don't want to speak for Joe, but that's kind of how I looked at it, that the professional life, there may be some other stuff in his personal life and other things going on that we don't know about, but when that professional element is not living up to your own expectations, you can see it affect other parts of your life that aren't in the professional realm very negatively. And I don't know exactly what he was specifically talking about. I saw it as above the roster. There's probably some frustrations with the roster, but maybe there's some, I don't know, stuff with the coaching staff. Obviously, the way this team operates at the front office level, that's kind of where I took it.
To me, it's just impossible to say what the frustration is because we're not him. We don't know exactly. It was his 29th birthday. He might be thinking, I'm already 29. This is the third straight year we're probably missing the playoffs. I've had so many injuries that I've had to battle through. It could be personally the injuries. It could be so many things. That's why, like you said, AC, you don't want to speak for him, but we're speculating. Yeah. I just immediately was like, that doesn't sound good. Like, I think that's what I tweeted out. Didn't elaborate on it. Just, that doesn't sound good. Like, there's nothing good about it. Whoever he's frustrated with, it sounds like a guy who's contemplating not playing too much longer if things don't change. And immediately you think of like Andrew Luck, retired at like 29. So it's like, is he going to just do that? This is a guy who's made enough money. Oh, I got years on my contract. I don't care. I'm done. I'm tired of putting my body through this. I don't love the game like I once loved the game. I'm having to force myself to love this game, to make it fun. It's like his pregame interview at Baltimore, it's a kid's game, get paid a lot of money to do it. And then, 2 weeks later, he's talking like this. So it sounds like a guy who is forcing himself to try to find ways to motivate himself to still want to play this game. And obviously, when you lose and just that part of it, it's not fun. And this is a competitor. This is a guy who wants to win 3 straight years, potentially not making the playoffs, whether he's injured or not. I think he's frustrated. He's contemplating his future. He's wondering. But then on the flip side, I go, okay, is this the message to the front office? Otherwise, like instead of without directly saying it, this is me saying I would probably love the game a lot more, be a lot happier if we were winning. If you guys got to do the things I need you to do, because he talked last year about salary cap and the ability to do different things that this front office doesn't do that he's paying attention to and watching other franchises do it. I think it's impossible for us to say, but blanket statement wise, I think we can all agree that's not good. It's not good. Our quarterback is sounding the way he sounded in that press conference.
Yeah, it's not good. And I agree with what you said there, Dale. And it goes back to what he said last year, because he did say he wanted to sign Jamar, and he did talk about other things they can do to add to the team. Good, AC? Oh, AC's frozen.
Can I
that's all I heard.
And then he froze.
And
now look at that facial
expression. Yeah, that's a concern.
Clip it.
That's a concerned face right there.
That is a quality time for your camera to freeze with that face. That is me when I heard Joe Burrow's comments.
Hey, there, he's back. You're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Am I back?
Yep.
Good God. Good God.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, just to add real quick, when you look at Dale mentioned Andrew Luck, his record as a quarterback, 11-5, 11-5, 11-5, 2-5, not playing 2017, 2018, made the Pro Bowl. They went 10-6. And he, during that time, if I remember correctly, got a big contract as well, contract extension off his rookie deal. So, for the people that are kind of saying, oh, cry me a river, you made, X amount of $1 million, blah, 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 to play this game. Yeah, but that's the profession that they chose and happened to excel in. And if you, again, kind of adopt a business mindset to it, if things aren't going well, you're not winning games, you're out of the lineup, you're unable to do the profession that you chose. I think you can kind of understand some of the frustrations that he was maybe hinting at. But I did like also, Dale, what you said about about him kind of not necessarily threatening the Bengals, but sending some sort of message like, this can't, if you want me here, we can't keep doing a lot of the same things that we've been doing.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I've been saying is like people took it as, oh, he wants to retire. Oh, he wants to be traded. I don't think he's saying that right now. I mean, on down the line, yeah, he could if they don't change. And that's what I think he's saying is, look, like Dale said, he said it a little bit last year where he's talking about signing T and signing Jamar, and we have money to add other people, or however he put it. He kind of threw that in there at the end of it, and not many people remember him saying that. That's the point. Is he wanted them to sign them, and they still had the money to go out and do more stuff this offseason. They didn't do it. That's the part I think where he's frustrated with is like, look, you got the money. You got this window of time. You're only going to have me, Joe, Jamar, and T for so long. You got this short window of time, and we're not taking advantage of it. And I see all these other, you see the Chiefs, they, knock on wood, hopefully won't make the playoffs this year, but they've won 3 Super Bowls. They've won to 4 of them. You got the Buffalo Bills who are consistently winning. And see what the Philadelphia Eagles. And the thing is, like, if you look at the Eagles, I think I can't remember. I heard this on podcasts or watching TV. The Bengals need to do what the Eagles done. They have put all their money on offense and hit on all their draft picks. The Bengals haven't hit on a defensive draft pick in God knows when. So that's what Joe's saying is my margin for winning is so narrow thin. It's ridiculous because I screwed up. I threw an interception. They tipped the ball up the other up in the air and intercept the ball. And then you guys I turn around and get a touchdown. And this defense can't stop a 3rd and 15 from Josh Allen. And if you guys, replayed that. I watched that. They go up for a pass rush, a 3rd and 15. They drive and he's run right by them. It's like
no spy.
Well, that's what I was going to say, AC. Like every other team would have a spy on 3rd and 15, knowing that he's not going to put the ball in the air and risk it being incomplete to stop the clock when the opponent has no timeouts. He'll run it. Like if it's a pass, he will run it. And it's Josh Allen, who had already rushed for a long touchwe'll touchdown. There is no world you don't have a spy on him. That was just stupidity.
It was stupid. That's where he's just like, what? We're not going to win like this. I can't fix. If Joe's kind of like, I'm good, but I can't fix everything. You guys have got to help me out. That's where I've taken this as is they had a shot to get back into playoffs, which they technically still have a shot at getting into playoffs. It's like a 1 in 670% chance to get back in. But last week was their legit shot to get back in this thing, and they threw it away. And that's what he's pissed off about. He fought his ass off to come back here. They beat Baltimore. They were winning in Buffalo, and it's gone. And it's just like, damn it.
Well, that win also in Buffalo would have given them the confidence that, hey, if we sneak in, we're beating people, right?
Yes, exactly.
Buffalo on the road in the snow, even with their limitations as a roster, that would have given them a big boost of confidence. Not just to improve their playoff chances, but just big boost of confidence. So there's that. But I'm going to kind of reiterate what you just said, Jeff, about the margin for error thing. The Joe Burrow is kind of, again, a microcosm of the whole margin for error thing, because you guys talked about draft classes. Because of the way they have or have not structured their scouting department, their front office staff, their margin for error on draft picks is very thin. Yeah. And when they are inactive in outside free agency to bolster their roster, their hit rate has to be higher than almost every other team in the NFL. That's just the way they've structured their team. I don't know why they do. I understand maybe not the most profitable team in the league. I understand it's a family business, all of that. But I mean, it feels like there are still resources left in the tank that are still not being used, financial or otherwise. And so that's where I think Joe and a lot of us sit here and get frustrated. And, Joe's kind of echoing a little bit, I think, of what a lot of people are thinking that follow this team.
And that's the thing is I think Joe is honestly the only one because thanks to Carson Palmer, the Bengals know this could happen. They've seen a franchise quarterback say, "I'll retire and instead of play for you guys." So they've seen this happen before. So I don't think they want that to happen again. At least I hope not.
They're not showing it is the problem. And
they did. Hold on. They did. I think in their mind, they did what they said Joe wanted. They signed T. They signed Jamar. They signed Mike G. They didn't do everything else, and that's kind of where Joe's at. Like, all right, cool, you did this, but we need this. So that's where the Bengals like, well, we did that. Like, no, but you didn't do enough, and that's where I think Joe's going back at him, going, no, this is what you need to do more.
Regardless, I was just going to say, regardless of how Joe feels, in what universe are you the GM? Are you the coaches? Are you all these people? And you have one of the worst defenses the last 2 years. You get rid of Lou, but their investment in free agency, and this is why I'm saying that they makes it feel like they don't care. I know they signed T and this and that.
Right. 2 guys.
You got TJ Slayton and Oren Burks. Yeah, that'll fix it before you go into the draft. In what universe, when your defense is that bad, can you go into the draft having to force second-round picks like Demetrius Knight because you didn't address anything in free agency? Just Stu fucking Pittity. And they wanted Walter Nolan in the first round. Well, guess what? He went a pick ahead of you. What if you knew you needed defensive pass rush help at defensive tackle? Why didn't you sign somebody before the draft, though? Like, so you had that addressed if you don't get him. Because then it was like, well, we didn't get him. I guess we just won't have any. We'll just not have any. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, you knew you needed it. They went last year without a nose tackle almost the whole year.
This shit they do doesn't make sense, and that's the problem. Like, regardless of Joe Burrow, just as fans, it's this stuff we talk about. You can't go into free agency and sign TJ Slayton and Oren Burks and think that's the solution to having one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yep.
They put all their, like I said, they put all their eggs in Al Golden basket, thought he was going to fix everything. I'm like, I didn't like that from the get-go. You and me talked about that ad nauseum. I was like, that's an awful lot to ask of one defensive coordinator. Go ahead, AC.
Well, we've talked about it on our show. I know the three of us have talked about it too on this show and Bengals and Brews and whatnot. The Bengals, their brain trust, and in a way it's kind of true, but they believe that they are the smartest people in the room, right?
Well, they're not.
Well, yes, but they are highly intelligent people, but construction of a football team says otherwise. But my fear is that if if this, and we're jumping the shark here a lot about Burrow's going to retire and quit just like Carson Palmer did. If that comes to pass, I'm saying if, hypothetically, my fear is their stance will be, well, we paid the wide receivers, we paid Joe the money, we spent the money, but you still had reserves left in the bank that you could have used elsewhere when we know the other finer details. But that's what they did with Palmer, because they paid Chad, they paid Hoosh, they paid Levi Jones, they paid Willie Anderson, and then that team got aged and fell apart a little bit. And then Carson's going, well, if you want me here, we got to rebuild what we had in the mid 2000s. And then they did the Antonio Bryant fiasco. Oh, they did Antoine Odom and all and they did all this stuff. And Carson's going, I'm falling on deaf ears. People can still villainize Carson Palmer if they want, but when you're looking at this scenario and whatever may come of it with Joe Burrow, I think you kind of got to look at it maybe in a slightly different light. And I was on the bandwagon of, oh man, he quit and all that kind of stuff. But
screw that guy.
But I think if this starts to go that way again, twice is a trend with your two franchise. I mean, those were two franchise changing players.
Right. That's where I'm hoping they smart. I mean, yeah, they're smart people. See, we say they're smart people, but to me, smart people. Okay, there's difference between like book smart and business smart.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, people say, well, they are business smart because they make money. Well, they're not football smart, because you're going to lose out on a chance to be one of the elite teams in football history. That's where I think we could be with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins on your team. You could be that dynasty, that elite franchise, and you're blowing it. But I gotta get these. I got two super chats.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think it's about being smart. I think it's about being arrogant. I keep using this word. They're so arrogant as a front office that they think they're smarter than everybody else. Arrogant is the best word to describe this family / front office. They shouldn't be the front office. They should just be the business side. We own the team. You shouldn't be doing both because you're not qualified to do it.
That's just stupid. What are they arrogant about? They have no results to be arrogant about.
But they point to the outliers, Jeff. That's what they do. They point to the outliers. They point to the years.
4 years ago.
They're still living in that. They're still living in that. And that's who
reality.
I understand. I'm with you. But that's what they're doing. And by the way, all these aggregator sites, the ML footballs and Dove Kleiman's that are going, the Jets, they have 5 first-round picks. Should they trade Joe Burrow? By the way, do you know the de facto GM is Duke Tobin? In 1999, Duke Tobin took over a very similar role with the team. Do you remember what happened in the 1999 draft?
Yeah, we turned down the Saints' entire draft for Achilles Smith.
There you go. So if you think that that's going to happen with Joe Burrow with Duke Tobin at the helm,
right.
Let it go.
Some of the stuff, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. All right, I gotta get these super chats. I appreciate both you guys. Here, let's see here. MB34012. Thanks for $4.99 super chat. How does a team that serious about winning not spend to the cap? If you won't do it for Joe, who will you do it for? That's a good question. I mean,
no one. They're fucking suck. The arrogant pricks, greedy bastards. That's the answer. But AC, your thoughts?
It's not even spending, because what's the excuse they always give us, right? It's, well, we don't want to be in salary cap hell, right?
Yeah. They never are.
Fine. They never are. And they do the whole rollover deal, the rollover of funds, they kick the can down the road. That's fine. If that's the way you want to operate, that's fine. But can you be at least savvy with the contracts, how you structure them, and then get other players in and or not hang on to players too long? Well, after, like you said, Dale, they ran Jermaine Pratt out of town this offseason, and then they subsequently ran Logan Wilson. And they had 2 linebackers they drafted, but they didn't have real solid veteran options that are contingency plans. And
they didn't sign any.
Exactly. So if you don't want to spend to the cap, that's one thing. And I've urged them to get, be more aggressive on that front. But it's also, to me, like how you structure guys, your attorneys by trade. I mean, get
better.
creative with the It's like
T. Higgins contract specifically, right?
Thank you.
T. Higgins
that's what
contract.
it's-
Yeah, like they could have structured that in a way they had so much more money this year
and they didn't.
and not hurt them at all. And common sense way to structure it that almost any other team would have done. They just refused to do that, and,
So,
and it's over and over.
That's the dumb crap. It's like you're just they cost themselves. Like that's the thing. It's like we say they're smart. We say we're this. They cost themselves more money with T and Jamar if they just would have signed up 2 years ago. And then on top of that, they cost themselves more money with the way they structured T's contract.
Yeah, they're going to do that with DJ Turner too. They
understand.
should be extending DJ Turner right now.
Yes, they should, but they're not going to. I mean, it's just like So again, I'm not necessarily. I'm hoping the Bengals are watching. What are you arrogant about? You screw up over and over and over again. You have nothing to be arrogant about. I don't understand it. It's just stubbornness, stupidity, and just blatant. You're lazy. To me, I keep putting it as lazy because they don't want to go the extra way to do what it takes to win.
Well, just go to the draft. Go to the draft to add on to your point there. Like you see all these teams scouting all these games. They scouted one. They were playing the team in that city. That's the only one we've seen all year.
They won't even go to UC and scout. It's in their backyard.
And it's like, you want to be at the game. You want to be around there. You want to know character. And if you don't think you do, go back to Jermaine Burton. I am of the belief they never once talked to Nick Saban about Jermaine Burton. It was there. The red flags were there to begin with 4 schools in high school, multiple schools in college. And it's like punched a female. All this stuff was there that this guy has a lot of red flags. Well, Nick Saban said it because he was on the draft show that year when he got drafted and said like emotional maturity. And I don't know. That was his coach. That was his coach the last 2 years of his career. I am of the belief they never even talked to Nick Saban about that pick. Wonder why it fucking burst into flames.
Well, they and they Nick Saban wasn't even really happy for Burton when he was drafted. It almost seemed like he was like he's got to get his act together and all this kind of stuff. Whatever he said specifically.
Well, probably he's frustrated as hell with trying to get him to get his act together, and Nick Saban couldn't get him to do it.
Yeah, Funky Balls. We'll get to your super chat, brother. Jeff's going to get to your super chat.
Yeah, sorry. We're. I wish the front office was as heated as us three are right now. But
I know we're pissed off.
But I know. But to the point of traveling and scouting and all of that. It comes with, again, a lack of resources in that department. I mean, if you don't have enough bodies to go out there and eyeballs to go check these guys and mouths to go talk to Nick Saban.
Well, they're game planning. Those guys, they said those scouts are doing game planning for the NFL games, AC.
They don't need a game plan. They can just go scout. Go hire scouts just to go scout. That's what normal teams do. Like, I don't understand this. Like, that's just, to me, cheap and laziness. Now, you want to hear where that's where they're cheap at.
Yes.
That is being cheap. You don't want to spend the money for that.
That's cutting corners. That's cutting corners, for sure.
But then they don't cut corners when it comes to a freaking contract with T. Higgins, which is mind-blowing to me because they're lawyers. What do lawyers do? They write contracts. So you wrote a contract that costs you more money. Huh?
You know what else lawyers do? They get they make sure they get fat fucking bank and make a lot of money. And I think at the end of the day, that's what that family cares about more than winning. Clearly. But
again, they cost themselves money. Them. I don't know.
I know.
All right. I got the super chats are coming in here. Let me get this. All right. Fuzzy Ball, $6 or $10 super chat. T's concussions are becoming a concern for a lot of fans as it should be for the organization. Love T play, but he has to start wearing a guardian cap to lessen those impacts. He needs to do some more neck exercises.
No, the guardian cap 100% because the way his head keeps hitting and this and that. Yeah. Now it's like a thing, and like once you start getting them, they can keep happening. I agree, Fuzzy. Like the guardian cap, and I know they look like shit. I think it's Romeo Dobbs that wears one for the Packers that looks so awkward. I don't care if it looks awkward. It's going to, number one, extend your life as a human being. And number two, extend your career as a player. Yeah, I hope he goes to the Guardian cap as well. Anything that could help the concussions. And, man, that was scary. And he had one. He had one again, and he got cleared and
came back.
Then his head hit 2 more times, and it's like there is no world.
The back of his head.
I know
that's what scares me. It's the same spot. It's the same spot over and over again that he keeps injuring. And I saw a play, and I don't want to speculate, but there was a play where Burrow hit him pretty. It was a pretty sweet ball, and he just dropped it. And it was very shortly after. I can't remember if it was the first hit or the second hit. I'm like, is he having blurred vision potentially? Is he?
Well, he kept shaking his head that time too when he had those drops.
Yeah,
well, that's why I was surprised he actually cleared. I'm like, oh, when I saw him hit the back of his head on the first one, I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, oh, he's done. I was mad that he wouldn't play anymore, but if he couldn't play because of the concussion, I understood. But I'm like, man. And then he came back. I'm like, okay. And then he hit his head again, and they came back. I'm like, really?
And they still caught that touchdown late in the game. Like, just an incredible cut. Like, I mean, shout out for being a Warrior, but at the same point in time, it shouldn't have been in his hands to be a Warrior. That he should have been.
That's when
his helmet. I kept waiting on them to be like, his helmet's been taken away.
Right. Because he'll keep running out there. I mean, and that's one thing I love about T and a lot of these guys on this team. They still care. A lot of these guys on this team still care, and they're trying, but it's just frustrating. We got another super chat here from $1.99 from KP for KC. They mad their scouts taking Amtrak. He said they're taking trains.
Made their scouts take Amtrak. Yeah.
They probably did. That would be surprising, but I mean,
more like the Union Pacific or something instead. Riding in orange crates or something, you know.
They got to drive, man. They got to drive and pay for their own gas. Like the game. Oh, it's an Oregon game, and you're in Cincinnati. You got to drive. Like, my God, they got to leave.
No mileage reimbursement.
They won't even pay them to go to UC. They can walk to UC, and they won't even go there to watch them. Which is, I still remember that Iowa State game. There's like 13 scouts there, and none for the Bengals. Like, you got to be kidding me.
And people are like, well, you can get all 22. This is what people said to me last year when I complained about it on Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, but it's different. You get boots on the ground. You see stuff live. You see the way people move live, you know, that you see the way they play, but it's also, you hear the way people talk about them and the fan base, but also on campus. Who are they as a person? And that's also an opportunity a lot of times to talk to the coaches, or now college football has GMs
or Nick Saban, like, you know, you can find out, but Burton wasn't worth drafting. Maybe, yeah.
You got another super chat there. I don't know if you want to put that one up, but do you all want to see Zach next year? Iceman loves him.
See, we were getting into this yesterday. I said, you want to fire him? Fire him. I said, which I that's fine. I don't care either way at this point. I don't think that's going to fix the problem, is what I said. And he keeps thinking that I love Zach, which I like Zach. I do. But I mean, if you want to fire him, if it fixes it, fire him. But that's not going to fix the problem.
I've been on a fire Zach train, and I thought, you know, and we talked about it when they fired Lou. And Zach put himself on the hot seat for making that decision. Yes. But I'm also like, this offense is humming in general. Even with Joe Flacco, the offense did pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. And that to me is like, well, he knows how to make adjustments and do some decent things as a coordinator. And even when it's like Joe Burrow's interception when Buffalo took the lead, that was a run play that Joe checked out of. So how can you put that on
Zach?
On Zach and
Joe,
But see, and I go back and forth. When you're the head coach, you're also responsible for the defensive performance. So whether it's Lou and now Al, like, that falls on your shoulders as well. So I go back and forth on, like, I don't think anything's fixed necessarily by getting rid of Zach, but sometimes, just like with Lou, voices grow stale. Yeah. Obviously, Al Golden's had a rough go. I think the linebacker play hasn't worked out. But we've seen better defensive play the last, 4 or 5 games prior to this one against Buffalo. And even in Buffalo, it wasn't terrible. There were some good moments in the Buffalo game, just ended badly for the defense in the second half.
They don't have enough talent. They still don't have enough talent on that side of the ball. That's what I keep saying. Like, well, I said this when I was talking with MB or whatever his name is. I said, look at the Patriots. I mean, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach ever. He lost Tom Brady and he never went to the playoffs again. So I mean, you got to have talent. You got to have talent, and they don't have enough talent on that side of the ball. They just don't.
I also think though, with that, they have so much talent on the offensive side of the ball, and what I was saying about Zach and how the offense kept humming, well, they still had all that talent even without Burrow to make things work. Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Mike Gesicki, he was injured for a while, but I mean, Noah Fant, all these guys. The offensive line playing great. Shout out Scott Peters. Like a defensive-minded head coach maybe changes a lot of things too. So I'm just like, I don't have the right answer because I think ultimately the family is in their own way, and then Duke Tobin and the scouting, and which also falls back on the family, is a big part of it. Like they have to draft better regardless. But a defensive-minded head coach maybe, and just a change in general is maybe what this organization needs. And that's not even a knock on Zach, because honestly, he's not the reason that we're not going to make the playoffs this year, in my opinion.
The reason we're not going to make the playoffs this year.
There's so many other opinions.
We didn't do enough in this offseason to improve the defense enough. That's the reason we're not making the playoffs this year. Go ahead, AC.
Well, Zach's out of scapegoats. I mean, there are no more scapegoats for him to be able to point to. I'm kind of like Dale, where I go, okay, I think it's time now. Defensive-minded head coach, that sort of thing. Sidebar: I do think if Zach does not return to Cincinnati, I think he would be a pretty solid offensive coordinator for an NFL team. I think he would. I think he would be a solid offensive coordinator for a team. But I do think it's based on the Burrow comments. I don't know if that was pointing at Zach or not. I just think, okay, we got to reset this thing. You've got core pieces already in place. You got to reset this thing. There's no more scapegoats. The problem is and remains what's above the head coach, because you can keep running these guys out of town and running them out of town, defensive coordinators, and until this gets solved, you may experience another handful of years of, wow, this is really good football by the Bengals. And then it's back to the same old, because of the way that they operate. So that's kind of like right now. I know you just mentioned Jeff, and yes, kudos to the team and kudos to Zach that they are still fighting, even though they are in all likelihood out of the playoff picture. They are still playing hard and efforts there. Mm-hmm. The talent isn't there, but at some point, we're now this window with Burrow is getting slammed shut. And he's probably sitting here going, I just turned 29 and somehow we don't have one Super Bowl ring. He's probably looking around going, what the hell's going on? Mm-hmm. So to me, I do think it's probably time, unless somehow they squeak into the playoffs in some weird way. I do think it's time for a coaching leadership change, but unfortunately, I think you're ultimately doomed for the same results a little bit down the road, even with a Spagnuolo who's got all his rings, or whoever else you bring in that was kind of like the Marvin Lewis type guy. I don't see it being a viable thing long term.
They don't, because it's the front office. It's the and the front office includes Duke Tobin. Mm-hmm. I mean, Duke, they need to hire a real GM. They have to get out of their own way. Like, I hate to harp on that constantly, but that is the biggest freaking problem.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Sorry, if Duke Tobin was indeed the guy who made, and I'm sure that was more Mike Brown maybe than Duke Tobin.
We'll never know.
If Duke Tobin oversaw that decision I mentioned in 1999, that is a fireable offense then. That is a fireable offense 2 years after that.
Cedric Ablahe in the first round, John Ross in the top 10. Like, who's making these picks?
Jamar Stewart.
When you saw Keeley get out of the league, that's like that doomed the franchise. You're gone, right? I mean, that is a fireable offense. And the fact that he's here, 25 years or 30 years later, whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
Be right back.
Well, all right. Well, I was going to ask a question for both of you for Dale left. But
hold on. Hold on. I'll answer real quick. I got to check on my dog.
Yeah. But talk about Zach. Do you guys actually think they will fire Zach this year? Because the way the team is playing, even though we're losing, we're in these games and we're losing by that much, I don't think they're going to fire him. I'm hoping they're going to change something. But what do you, in your heart of hearts, what do you think?
Unless Joe goes to them and says it and not maybe alludes to it or acts, has that press conference or whatever, unless he kind of goes and tells them, I think we need to have a reset now for head coach. I think he stays one more year, and it's strictly because this is what they do. Money. He has 1 year left on his contract. They'll let him ride it out. That would be the way I lean that way.
Right. So AC, what do you think? You think Zach actually gets fired this year, or you think he's
I agree with Dale in the aspect of Burrow's say in the situation, but I think it does come down to what the end record is. If they're right there again, if they're 8-9 and they're somehow alive on the last Sunday and maybe they don't get in or something like that, they will lean on that and they will say, see, if Burrow wasn't hurt all those games and all that, and
I come back to them on this. They scored 30 points without Joe Burrow and still lost. So to me, I'm like, no, you can't sit there and say, oh, we're doing fine. Everything's good. No, you've got to like. The thing for me is I think Zach stays. I don't think they're going to fire him because I honestly think we're going to win the majority of these games and they're going to think they're close. But I do hope that they change. They got to change something in the front office somehow. Add scouts. They got to take one of these assistant GMs, which they're 3 or 4 assistant GMs, which we don't technically have a GM. There's nobody listed as GM, so I don't know who they're assisting. Take one of those guys and make him the GM. Make a dude like this is the guy. Which you be talking about this, which I don't understand why the Browns again, if they're smart people, why they wouldn't do this. Take a guy and go, hey, this is the GM. He's the one making the decision. We didn't do it, even though they have to listen to the Brown family. They can blame him. I don't understand why they do that.
That's a very good point, and we know that if and when they do get a general manager, it will probably be some sort of nepotistic type hire or something like that. Not someone from the outside their little inner circle there. No. Jeff, there exists a world that the Bengals could go 5-1 in the division this year and not make the playoffs.
Right. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Like, think about that. You could sweep the Ravens, sweep the Browns, and split with the Steelers, and you could not make the playoffs. That is just insanity to me.
Yeah, I'm like, that to me. Okay, that pisses me off so much. If I'm the Brown fan, I'm fixing something. We ain't doing this again. But that's me. That apparently it's not them. I got another $5 super chat here. I gotta get from Fuzzy Balls. Appreciate it. Zach and Duke aren't getting fired. He still needs his car washed and his lawn mowed and his pool cleaned.
Between assistant 2 and all that stuff, I'm getting Dwight Schrute vibes here. Washing Jim's car and all kinds of stuff. Exactly. Oh man, washing Michael Scott's car. Yeah. Assistant 2, the regional manager. Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing, AC, is, legitly, like I've had people like, oh, we just blow it up and rebuild everything. Like, we're legitly not that far away from being a playoff contending team. Like, they're really not. I mean, if you go out and draft better, or if they can get an edge, and this same thing I said last year, get an edge, get an interior defensive lineman who can get pressure up the middle, get a linebacker, get a safety, you're fixed. I mean, that's a lot, I guess, but you can do that in one offseason through free agency, and if you draft smartly.
Yeah. And again, this is where the Bengals will need to do some sort of PR spin, and maybe I'm just being negative Nancy over here and being the old cynical guy, but when it comes to free agency, a reputation of a team can mean a bit. If you're going to a reputation of a front office, a reputation of a team, and how they deal with players can mean a lot. Now, the Bengals have improved in a lot of ways over the last handful of years in that regard, but again, contract structure, guaranteed money. If this Burrow thing spins out of control even further into the offseason, if you're targeting star players at those positions in free agency, they may just say, yeah, I'm not taking that call, or I'll use you as a bargaining chip where I really want to go.
Right.
And again, I don't know that to be the exact fact that will happen next offseason, but this is where you have to start to get things under control, because then it could damage you again on the field by not netting the players that you really want to target, because you're getting in your own way.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, they what they have in Joe Burrow is people are going to want to come play with Joe Burrow, even on the defense side.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one thing that they do have. But if Joe's out here not being happy, like, well, if Burrow's not happy there, then why would I be happy there? That's the vibes that they gotta change, and that's where, to me, and this one, I'll Dale, if Dale's back, I want to ask you guys.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, it sounded like, for me, like, all right, like Joe was, before the Buffalo game, like, happy to be back. We're here to play a kids game. This is fun, yada yada yada. And then what happened this week? Do you think that to me, something changed other than the fact that we lost the game the way we did? It's almost like he had a conversation with somebody up there, and it's like, hey, this isn't going to work, or we need to improve it, and he didn't like what he heard. That's almost like, because that's kind of what it felt like with the whole T. Higgins things last year. He got the vibe, or was talking about that they weren't going to resign him, and he's like, no, bump that. We need to sign him, along with Mike G and everybody else, and I'm going to say something. To me, that's just the vibes I got. If something happened to make him, because Joe just doesn't fly off the handle and say stuff. Even if he's pissed off, he says it very calculated. So to me, it's again, I'm reading tea leaves. I don't know. He heard something or talked to somebody.
I think it is more just the Buffalo game. Like, I don't know that it's that, what you're saying. I mean, that's possible. I'm not ruling it out. But I think it's the way, like, hey, I had these 2 turnovers, but then we got the touchdown, and then we were at 3rd and 15. And just this maybe gave him flashbacks to last year when he played at an MVP level, and the defense just wasn't good enough in the biggest moment to finish the game so many times, or to give him a chance. So to me, I'm going to say that made him really reflect on, it's the same as last year. And I kind of said it a lot last year.
I think I actually think it is more about the Buffalo loss, and that was a psyche damaging loss to this team. Yeah. I really think so, because again, playoff chances, your confidence about, if you get in, you can beat pretty much anybody, especially in this weak AFC. All of that, you had the game in the bag, and now the collapse happens under Burrow. Not Joe Flacco, not Jake Browning. I mean, now the collapse happens under Burrow. Burrow had a part in it, but he also played hero ball a lot of that game too. So I too think that, but I think it's compounded to what Dale just said. Oh, this is like last year. Well, it is like last year, but it's also a freaking crazy foot injury later. I rushed my ass back for this. Like I said just a minute ago, we have a chance to, we being Joe Burrow's mind, have a chance to be 5-1 in the division and somehow not make the playoffs. How is this possible? And
well, let's go back
they didn't learn from last year, apparently, or what they learned from last year and tried to fix was an absolute epic failure on that defensive side of the ball.
I was going to say, let's just go back to the Buffalo game, to when they got, Buffalo made it close and they drove down and got the Mike Gesicki touchdown to go up 10 with 8 minutes left. Like, at that point, the game should be over. Like, he probably watched the game back and was frustrated as hell, because we're not talking about any interceptions. If our defense keeps Buffalo from driving down the field in like 2 minutes time to get a touchdown and cut it back to 3 points.
3rd and 15.
I know, but before that, when we went up 10, they drove down immediately. Buffalo did. I remember tweeting, there's got to be more resistance than that. You have to make Buffalo go on a longer drive, because touchdown you had the game in hand.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, the drive to end it is another long run by Josh Allen. It's like they could, and it's not like Buffalo has this juggernaut offense. You knew what they were going to do. They were going to run the ball. Josh was going to run the ball, or going to throw it to the tight ends. That's all they did, and we couldn't stop it. And that's and AC, to your point, you said that the collapse happened even under Joe Burrow. So that's where I come back to the Bengals, like, and this is where Joe might be like, look, I can't do everything. I just proven I can't. So you've got to fix this other stuff. It's proven now. You can't sit there and go, oh, well, if we had Joe all these other games, we would have won. Look at the Buffalo game. We had Joe, and we still lost.
Yeah, very similar to the Jets and Bears games where you collapsed in the fourth quarter.
So you can't sit there and say that.
Guys, you've watched 35. We've all watched about 35 plus years at least of this team playing football. How you want to talk about repeating problems from 2024? How about the repeat problem of having someone to guard a freaking tight end?
Okay.
How long has that problem existed?
Yeah,
it's like
2019.
It's like
Flowers. Good.
No, you're right. Flowers was like the one outlier guy that they used. I mean, Nelson was an enforcer. Reggie Nelson was kind of an enforcer, but he wasn't like, I shut down tight ends. They have always allowed tight ends to run free against this team. And I think, in my mind, I think it's a devaluation of the safety position, the franchise's devaluation of certain linebacker positions and that sort of thing. But fix it.
Yes.
Fix it.
Right.
It's like mind-numbing. This has been decades that they could not cover a tight end.
Especially when you're going against two teams in your own division that like to throw to the tight end. The Ravens love throwing to the tight end. The Steelers love throwing to the tight end. That's one of their biggest offensive plays. I don't know. Figure out how to get a linebacker who can go sideline to sideline and cover a tight end or a safety. I mean, it's just Greg always puts this out there, and which is an option too. They go back to the 3-4 defense.
Well, not then you're talking about, now the personnel you have,
right.
Now the personnel you have that you've drafted over the past however many years. I mean, a lot of those guys don't fit that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Hold on, AC. They can put Chris Jenkins at defensive end, like
with his pass rushing prowess. Yeah, exactly.
They keep doing that, and it's like, they keep doing these things to where they'll have it's him and BJ Hill and TJ Slayton in there. And they're the only three on the field that are on the front. And every time it ends in a touchdown in the red zone.
Because that goes back to what, we said it from the Super Bowl. We haven't replaced Larry O. We haven't gotten that pressure up the middle since him. And that's been, 4 years? They let guys go. They let Jesse Bates go. They replace him. Like DJ Reader go. They replace him. Like Larry Ogunjobi go. They didn't replace him. It's like, damn it. And that's, you can look at the slow descent of this defense for the guys who've left this team. They've never replaced. And it's like they don't, and those are all positions they don't hold in high regard. Like they don't pay safeties. They don't pay defense interior linemen very much. They paid DJ Reader, which he was up the first, but they don't normally do that. These are things that they got to freaking change.
I would love to see. Sorry, go ahead, Dale.
I was just going to say, you guys were talking free agency when I came back. I don't know if there was a question to that or whatever, but go ahead, AC first, and then we can come back to that.
No, I just a couple quick thoughts. I would like to see them, bring in some sort of player with the stature of like Aloka, but use him as, a tight end coverage specialist type of, not him and his skill set per se, but someone just with some good size and guys that can, again, like a Flowers, a bigger defensive back that can move pretty well, that maybe isn't a good boundary guy, but can get in there. And it's funny, I just had a thought, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, because you guys know more Reds baseball than I do, but Larry O kind of reminded me of like Adam Dunn, right? He was like a huge play, or he was like MIA for a while. Yeah. It was like a home run play, grand slam play.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's pretty much. Go ahead, Dale. What do you got? Free agency?
I don't know what the conversation was about free agency when I came back.
Need to sign some.
Okay. Well, it's not a good class, but I was like, we could go. I'm on Spotrac, and it's just like some of the players. So Trey Hendrickson is at the top of their list. Well, we don't. Mike Evans, obviously, wide receiver. No. Khalil Mack. So if you get rid of Trey, you bring in Khalil Mack. He is almost 35.
The Bengals ain't gonna sign him. Next,
some wide receivers we'll skip. Braden Smith, right tackle. I think we're good there with Mims.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce.
He's gonna retire.
Yeah.
This
Joel
is depressing me more.
Guard Joel Bitonio. I think I would bring back Reisner. You know, if we're talking to say guards, like, and then Jalen Rivers is a backup.
I'd have him. I'd have him.
Have good depth.
Yeah, like, I'd have Reisner and Rivers fight it out for right guard next year. That's what I would do.
I agree with that. This guy named Jonah Williams.
Who? Never heard of him.
Former Bengal player.
Only 28 defensive players.
Jonah Williams is only 28 years old, by the way. Just turned 28. Kyle Duggar, who the Steelers have. I don't know if he's doing anything that they picked up from the Patriots. Also almost 30. Wyatt Teller, 31. Hassan Reddick, 31. Daniel Jones, obviously, Njoku, Aaron Rodgers, Jamel D. Joey Bosa, 30. The Bills, maybe for 1 year if he's out there.
For 1 year as a rotational piece, I'd do it. He'd probably get hurt again, but I'd do it.
So, I'll skip a lot of these names. There's just this DJ Reader, 31 and a half years old, and you have Slayton back next year.
I'm not saying no. I don't know.
But you'll also have cap casualties before, inevitably, before.
Well, there's always guys, right?
Like Jesse Bates could be a cap casualty for the Falcons.
But going back to what I was talking about your reputation and trying to engage in outside free agency and this Burrow problem and all this kind of stuff, it may, I mean, depending on how deep that issue goes, and if teams are saying thanks but no thanks, you may have to like trade for players. You may to get guys, and especially when what you're telling me right now, Dale, that is a weak class for wherever the Bengals where the Bengals have needs. That is a weak class right now as it stands for the Bengals and what they need to do. So they may have to go out there and swing a trade for a guy, whether that's player for player or picks, or I don't know, which they don't love to do the pick thing. So,
and I can go by position.
They love it.
Here's one that intrigued me as I was going down this list. He's going to be 29. Draymond Jones. Of course, I'm a homer, Ohio State, obviously.
A little bit.
But the Ravens traded for, and he brings some juice. He plays a little more on the edge at times, but also G tackle is what he's played coming in. I would love a piece like that. Like, I would have liked us to trade for him. We've been needing that, before we get into Peter Woods and players like that in the draft. I think you get a guy like that in free agency. That's one of those that may not cost you a ton of money.
What's the chance those drafted Caleb Downs?
I mean, if you're in the top 10 pick, maybe, but then again, he's also, a safety. And I don't know if the Bengals would do it or not.
I would love it. Man, I'd like this one too. What says MB3402? Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Get Jeffrey Simmons. Trade them picks. That's
too many. Number one, it's too many picks to have to trade, or too high value that they wouldn't do it.
No, I'd love
so those are the ones I don't talk about. But obviously, every team would want a Jeffrey Simmons.
I would do that in a heartbeat. But what are the chances? Like, is Caleb Downs like the only out of the three big Ohio State defensive guys? Is he the only one we might have a shot at actually drafting? You think?
Man, I think we're going to be too stubborn to take a linebacker, and I'm not even talking Arvell Reese, who may move to edge.
But
Sonny Styles, you're talking 6'4", 240. He played safety his first year. He's so young because he was going to be a senior in high school, and he reclassified to become a freshman. So this kid is 20, 21 years old, and he just played phenomenal against Indiana. He's everywhere. He's having a fantastic season. He gets overshadowed by some of the other guys on that defense. Sonny Styles would totally change this team. Let's say we win some games, we're picking 15th. Sonny Styles from Ohio State at like pick 15 sign me up all day, every day. I don't know if the Bengals would do it because they're going to be so stubborn on Barrett Carter's development. And I think that's a terrible thing to do.
But the thing is, like, you still need linebackers. I mean, you still need more. You gotta have more than two. like why?
And that safety to linebacker transition, does that sound familiar? That's what Pratt did.
Yeah.
You know, when he was in college, he started out as a safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you saw that work for him. You know, as I know there were flaws in the game, especially, you know, towards the end of his Bengal career. But I mean, he was around the ball. He had those safety instincts. That helps you. So
the thing was,
I like that profile.
Well, Pratt went from about 215 to about 240, and you do lose some athleticism with that. Like, and the thing with Sonny Styles being like 6'4" and 240, he's already made the transition. He's lost none of the athleticism. Like, he's going to test like an absolute freak show. He's a top 10 Feldman freak list member. Like, he is going to make somebody's football team a lot better. And I hope the Bengals aren't too stubborn if they're picking around 15 that they just take him.
And they like Ohio State players. They do like them. All right, Fuzzy Balls, thanks for the $5 super chat. The guy who replaced Shamar Stewart at Texas A&M, 11.5 sacks this season. We could draft Cassius Howell to replace Shamar again. If I said his name right. What's your thoughts on Howell there, Dale?
Undersized edge rusher, a little bit undersized, absolute pass rush freak. Like, would immediately improve the pass rush. I think David Bailey's a better prospect. I think both of them are first-round talents. Cassius Howell, not very good run defender. I wouldn't say David Bailey's a good run defender, but he's improved this year at Texas Tech. I like Cassius Howell quite a bit. Both guys have, like, pass rush moves that we don't have on this team. Like, we're a lot of power base.
They actually already have pass rush moves. They don't have to learn in the NFL. That'd be
Spin
great.
moves, rip swims. They've got it all. Like, those are guys that I think would improve this team.
Hey, Field Yates, I saw him.
I'm in agreement with you. That's
good, AC.
Oh, sorry. I just said that's why I wanted Ezeraku last year. Just a guy that, you know, brings a different profile and mix it up. So that's what's appealing to me. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I just saw the other day Field Yates had his first mock draft, and he had the Bengals drafted at 10th, which I don't know if we're going to draft 10th or not. But he had us drafting the edge out of Miami. Do you know anything about? I want to ask you about him. Do you know anything about him? I don't even know his name, Dale.
Yeah, Reuben Bain Jr. He is my edge one. He had a hot start to the season. Really good freshman season. Was injured his sophomore season, so he didn't play as much. And then this year, he off to a hot start, but there's games he's disappeared. But he is an absolute pressure machine. Like, his pass rush win rate is almost 40%, like, on true pass sets. It's insane. Now, a lot of it is power based. He probably doesn't have the longest arms, but he is an absolute freak show of a defensive end that would improve your team. He doesn't have the moves, the like we're talking about with the David Bailey, a Cassius Howell. But he's a little stouter against the run. So, and Miami's in the playoffs. So it's a guy that I want to see him step up in the biggest moments in the playoffs. So, but yeah, I have him as a top 10 prospect. I think he's off the board in the top 10 picks. If we're not picking in the top 10, you don't have a shot at him.
You get him right at 10. Yeah, that's where Field.
Yeah. And that's about like the lowest floor for his draft projection in my eyes, you know.
Which I'll be shocked if we draft. We'd have to like lose the rest of the games, I think, to draft 10th, wouldn't we? Do you guys know offhand? I don't even know.
No, we're at like 10 right now, and honestly, I don't know. I think we're going to end up anywhere between 9 to 15. 9 to 15.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking. Not. Yeah, I was going to say 10 to 15, but yeah, that's
not going to be the vaunted 17th pick, most likely.
Damn it!
No, that we usually get. Here's a guy, and I seen this mock to the Bengals, free agent.
Here's a guy.
Here's a guy. Leo Chanel, Kansas City. I seen this about a month ago, and I was like, I would be good with this. He's just now turned 25 years old, plays for the Chiefs out of Wisconsin. That, like, if you wanted to address linebacker in free agency, I think Leo Chanel would be a great guy to pick up. Like, I'm just trying to toss some things out there for Bengals Nation.
They had to add to the linebacker room regardless.
I think
They don't have
they should do both. Like
Yes.
you shouldn't go in being like, we're gonna get this or that or this or that. Go hammer it in free agency. At least have a guy. So worst case, you don't get that guy you want, but it's a very good linebacker. It's a very good safety class. So like, which are two positions we need. I just hope the Bengals aren't stubborn and refuse to take a linebacker, because there is my top 13 linebackers all would have a shot to be in the top 3 last year. And 3 was Demetrius Knight as a 3rd round pick. I think that my 13th linebacker would have a chance to be the 3rd linebacker in last year's class. Like, that's how good this linebacker class is.
Please, God, let the Bengals not be stubborn. Thank you. We just got to pray. We got to pray, guys. All right, we've been on for an hour and 5 minutes. I don't want to keep you guys any longer than that. I appreciate you guys jumping on. This is always fun, as always, for this Who Dey Football Friday. AC, you got any final words parting here before I let you get out of here to Who Dey Nation?
Well, for at Cincy fan Jungle City 9871, he mentioned earlier, I haven't seen Anthony since the Super Bowl year, and Anthony should have his show. I do have a show.
He does have a show.
I think he was just annoyed at me. I think he was annoyed at me cutting you off like I just did again.
Oh, no, you're good. But no. Anyway, that was said a little tongue in cheek, but love you guys. Appreciate it. It's been fun as always. Going to keep trying to make this happen on Fridays. If this is going to be a tradition unlike any other.
Exactly. It's like the Masters.
That's right.
We get, instead of the 4 horsemen, we get the 3 horsemen.
I wish I could have a cocktail with you, but I got to go pick up my son from school, and I'm not showing up buzzy to school. So
we wish we had sunny and warm weather like you do. So
yeah, it's like 7 o'clock here, dark and depressing and cold.
We can't have nice things. It's 6-7.
6-7. 6-7. That's about the weather right now. 6-7.
Exactly. All right,
I'll see you guys,
brother. See you.
All right,
see you, brother.
All right, Dale. Just the final words of wisdom here for Who Dey Nation before we get out of here until next Friday.
Well, Chuck Thompson said, "What about Curry from Ohio State? Got him as a 4th round guy. Okay, man, he's a little undersized if you wanted to kick him into D tackle, but has had a fantastic season for Ohio State, and he's one of those guys will make your football team better. You draft him in like the 4th round, your team's improved. So I do like him. I think the better DN prospect though is Kenyatta Jackson Jr. from Ohio State. That's a guy. He's not 6'7", but he is about 6'5", 260, 265. You know how the Bengals typically like their defensive end. So Kenyatta, and he's playing his best football down the stretch. Had a great game versus Indiana.
All right, so I got a question for you with this draft. So you said it's a deep linebacker and safety draft. So the Bengals, if they're not stubborn, should be able to at least draft a linebacker and a safety to hopefully help. What's the D line look like? Edge, interior? To me, that's the other issue we need to address in the draft.
Well, I personally like the edge class better than the D tackle class, but I will say this about the D tackle class: it's and I said this over summer scouting series, it's going to be heavy with these nose tackle run stuffer types. Not saying we don't need that. But we have TJ Slayton. We have McKinley Jackson, who needs more snaps still, by the way. Chris Jenkins also run stopper.
You need a
There's
pass
not
rusher.
a lot of pass rushers. So you either take Peter Woods in the 1st. Maybe Caleb Banks falls to the 2nd because he was injured most of this year from Florida. This is a guy who's 6'6", like 334. And his numbers not good this year. Like he played the first game, then he was injured, played a little bit in one game, and then played the last 2 games of the year. But based on last year and based on how talented that guy is with his upside, he probably goes in the 1st round. But if he's there in the 2nd, Caleb Banks would be a phenomenal draft pick out of Florida. 6'6", 334. We've seen Deion Walker from Kentucky. He went in the 4th round, making plays against us last week. I think Caleb Banks is a better version of him. So,
well, hopefully they'll fix this. That would be freaking phenomenal. But we'll see what happens. Dale, as always, first of all, love you, appreciate you, and everybody go get his draft guide.
The draft guide. It's $5. Project Game Day gets military veterans, individuals with disabilities to Bengals games, special experiences. So that's what the Project Game Day is about. I do a draft guide that I put way more time and effort than any one human being should put into that they don't make money off of.
He does.
I do this shit year round, and it's extensive. It's almost 400 pages.
It's like the
and
beast.
I have one for next year that also has about 400 pages already that I start on, and I update it constantly, and I do charts, and I do this, and I do that, player profiles. It's just a PDF file I send via email, but I ask for just a $5 donation in exchange. You can give more if you'd like to Project Game Day, projectgameday.org, I believe. I don't know. Whatever. It's pinned to my profile on Twitter. But, yeah, I've raised about $305 because I put this one out. When the draft ended last year, I had this one out when summer started. So a lot of people got – and you get every update. You give one donation, you're on my email list. You give me your preferred email address. You're on that list, and you constantly get – I just sent out an update this week. And, yeah, you really do get a lot of information, and I put a lot of time. I watch a lot of prospects. I clip stuff up, put it out there on Twitter, do these charts, you know, for people that are watching it too, that I'm like, okay, this is this and that. And I've a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I do appreciate the donations to that.
One quick question here before I get you out of here. Christopher wants to know, you're not scared of Caleb Banks' injuries?
No, that's what I said. 100% scared of that injury. He's already like 24 years old. That's why I think he could fall to the second round. You know, that's what I said. But first round talent, like first round flashes.
So it'd be perfect.
Yes,
the
100%, 100% scared about the injuries. Yes,
that'd be perfect. The Bengals think they're smarter than everybody else, so they'll take a chance on this guy.
Hey, where's the I in Delbert? There ain't one, man. Come on now.
But I don't know.
I mean, come on. I can't. I'm trying to promote Project Game Day, the draft guide. Yes, it makes me feel good when someone purchases one or someone says, man, that's a lot of information that gets it. And like, oh, man, you do a good job. That does make me feel good. That's the I in it.
Dale, you do a great job. I tell you that all the time. You're awesome.
I put in the work.
You put in the work. Put in the work. All right, brother. I'll see you next Friday. Who Dey? All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. My Friday shows and my Monday shows are probably my favorite shows. When I got on Mondays, when we get Corey back on there, but me and Cap are on there every Monday. And then Friday, me, Dale, and AC on are they're great shows, and I hope you guys enjoy them as much as I do. I mean, it's a lot of complaining here lately because, well, the Bengals have given us a lot to complain about. But the crazy thing is, they could pull this off. I'm not saying they have a great shot at doing it, but as bad as this division is, it could happen. The Bengals could go and win all of these games. The Steelers could lose all of them except for one. And the Ravens, I mean, if we beat the Ravens tomorrow, they only got to lose one more game. And they're 2-2, and they're out of it. And the Steelers can only win one. I don't know. It's a shot. Not a very good shot, but it's a shot. It's at least something worth watching. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, Instagram. Actually, not on Instagram because it wouldn't work today for some reason. I don't know why. But you can follow me on all those, along with Threads and TikTok, and check out my Substack. I do write some articles on there from time to time. Appreciate if you guys check it out. I will be pulling a sound off later on tonight. Put it on the podcast. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Do me a favor. Let's do it. Rate it, like it, review it. Leave a comment and a 5-star review so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Listen to it tomorrow on your way into work since we don't have any local sports radio shows here.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything. I mean anything. Landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and more. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and more. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also, shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
Again, we will be back down at Moreland Lager House starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Now, for the Best Day Brewery pregame experience at the Moreland Lager House. Now, the pregame tailgate is in the big tent in the Kris Kringle Market. It's heated. It's huge. If you don't have a ticket, you can come there and hang out and buy your own food, buy your own beer. If you do have a ticket, the buffet is open. The beer's flowing. If you want a ticket, it's best deal in the banks. Go to the Moreland Lager House Facebook page or their website. Go on there. It's also, I think, pinned to the top of my page too as well on Facebook. You guys can check it out. Get the link there. Get your tickets. And if you decide you don't want to go to the game, they got a big 6-foot TV screen in there that they'll be playing the game on. You can stand there where it's nice and warm and cheer the Bengals on. Either way, come on down. It's going to be an absolute blast. Like I said, it'll be warm. And it's one of the coolest environments down there. And again, it's the best deal on the bank. So hope you guys can come down and support me and hang out. That would be awesome. Other than that, remember one thing and one thing only. That's Who Dey for life. And always remember, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Another great show. You guys still here? The show's over. You can come back tomorrow. I'm out of here. See ya.